Can you verify that the front, I don't know if one calls them yards, but the front portion there is to scale and that the sidewalk is to actual scale, as in the floor plan and the other view that you have?
In general, yes, this is done through a SketchUp 3D Studio Max type program, so it is all to scale based on an AutoCAD scale drawing. Perspectival drawings usually do look a little distorted when they're pulled up, so there is a very narrow sidewalk that's existing, and this is the front yard area. It does exceed the minimum setback requirement from the property line under the old code as well as the new one. On LDR, it doesn't meet all the requirements of the LDR, but it comes quite close. Where it is deficient is some of the side setbacks, but this came under the original, the older version of the code, which was in effect when they applied for this several months ago.
And can you discuss in the backup, there's a suggestion, I guess, transmitted from, I forget whether it was historic or planning and zoning, but transmitted to change the vegetation in front from palm trees to hardwoods, possibly Florida magnolias.
They weren't able to put the magnolias in. They did change and beef up the species of palm tree, now dual trunk. I'll let the applicant address that, but the landscaping that's shown in the rendering here is a much more vigorous, hardy variety than was originally proposed, and they beefed up the landscaping in the front and along the side.
But can you verify for me, and I am looking for, I don't know whether it's illegal, but can you verify that the vegetation as written and drawn meets our landscape code? Because I believe that our landscape code asks for not palm trees and asks for hardwoods.
Our landscape code does allow palm trees to count as a tree when there are multiple trunks and multiple, it takes more than one palm tree to count as a tree. The landscape plan was evaluated during the site plan review process by the city horticulturist, and it met the code at the time. The code has not changed with new LDRs. We do give more points for larger type trees, which was a provision to encourage larger species of trees being put in than before. That's the only change in the LDRs that are there now that weren't there before. The applicant has told us, and I can verify this, if you do the depiction of the model with the landscaping at its maturity, it blocks out much of the building. So oftentimes we scale back the density and intensity of the landscape in the rendering so you can actually see the building, because you're really improving the building. The landscape is not under your review tonight. It's only the community appearance. And here's a conflict. The project has gotten a certificate of appropriateness, which involves community appearance, thereby the weirdness of our old code. So technically, if you change anything, it has to go back before the preservation board and be reapproved. And that's just a nuance of how our old code was messed up, and we fixed that.
Well, I would just like to go on record that I think there is a feeling in the community of encouraging large shade trees for a variety of reasons, and and palm trees don't do very well at that. So if there is any way that the developers can be encouraged to do their utmost, I and the community would be grateful. Okay.
Commissioner Marcel?
I just wanted a little clarity. So we're actually working with two different codes, the old code, the new code. And it looks like the setback from the sidewalk is set back a little more than the one that we're already on?
Yes.
Okay, because that was one of the big concerns. We heard a lot about the setback.
Yeah.
So, that setback. As far as trees, I think this is a discussion we need to have down the road, because I grew up here in Florida. It's palm trees and fruit trees. We have no fruit trees, and now we're talking about more hardwoods. I understand the shading, I understand the canopies, but if you look around our city right now, we cannot maintain what we have. They are on the buildings, they are growing into each other. We're before hurricane season. I had the conversation with Jamie. We just cannot maintain what we have. Granted, this is on private property, but a lot of times, as we build out, the private property ones next to Starbucks grew into ours.
Well, I don't want to have a conversation about trees.
just saying.
I'm saying we're all good, not that's happy.
Yeah.
Mr. Waters already said this is not about a landscape plan.
Even on record, I wanted to go on record.
No, I appreciate that. If you're going to talk about trees, I'm not going to call on you.
All right, that's
Commissioner Zerdy?
I'm going to talk about the setback, but
Okay.
if you look at townhouses that are on the intersection of 6th and Federal, all right? They're much closer. They have a landscaping that's there, which have shade trees that are now kind of causing some problems with the buildings. They're columnar in style, so I just slipped that in there because it's.
You're talking about trees again.
It's
What did I
setback,
tell you all about trees?
it's setback related. This gives them room for these trees, which again have, even palm trees, once they mature, the multiple truck, they still can.
If I hear tree one more time, this hammer's coming down on this thing.
So it's still, to me, I think it's a good improvement. I think the style of the existing one here, we're eliminating, I think, some of that brick texturing and things that seem kind of contrived in that elevation there. It wasn't even true brick, so I think this is an improvement to what's there. I live a couple blocks away, I drive by this all the time, and I think this is a good continuation of that project with the setback and the reduced massing that we have here.
I drive by it all the time and always went, And then now I'm so aesthetically excited to see the transformation on this too. It really is, looks lovely. Okay, thank you. We have, do we have a motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Public comment. You may have a seat unless you wanted to make a formal statement. Anything?
If I could,
Yes.
David, obviously on behalf of the applicant, I just wanted to say that working with your staff has been outstanding. They provided insightful comments, they made the product better, and I think that we're gonna take an abandoned project and make it a whole lot better. So we're looking forward to working with the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking an abandoned project and making it better. Mr. Tim, followed by Ms. Sharp.
As you notice, I just turned in this card lately because as I look at this picture right here, it doesn't look like the setback is any better than the one on 6th Avenue South or the Tuscan Villa on 10th Avenue North. You can tell me it is, and I will have to believe you, but it does not look like there's any more of a setback. And of course, the little like 3 stories going right up, straight up in the air. And I didn't see any of the stuff that they were supposed to give us as far as the setbacks and this and that and the other thing that I don't expect to see on any of our future setbacks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Short?
Loretta Shop, 1311 South Palmway. I go by these buildings that are there probably 6 times a day, because I live south of them. And without a doubt, they are the worst looking townhouses I have ever seen in my whole life. This plan, they were for the historical board my last meeting. And I wasn't going to approve it, because I thought it was too dense, but we sent them back to work with staff, and they've cut down some units, and they've done things that we had recommended that they do, and the setbacks, Peter, are greater than what they are on 6th Avenue. But I did make the motion to send it to the city commission for your approval. I think it's 100 times better than what's on the property now. 100 times better. I couldn't be more pleased that they took that faux brick off those buildings, and it will never appear again. I hope there's never a board in the city of Lake Worth that approves faux brick on townhouses. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We've got a motion on the floor in a second. Oh, sorry. Ms. Lindsay? When they sneak in on me like that, those last cards, I'm sorry, forgive me.
Mary Lindsay, 327 Columbia Drive. Commissioners, one more time. Yes, this is great and it's wonderful, and I'm thrilled to see some progress there. This property is in a neighborhood association. You have all spoken about how important it is. You want public comments and put up on the website and interaction with the public. You have a built-in vehicle to get that kind of public input on these kind of projects, which you all know means something to what our city looks like, means something to the residents of this city, or we wouldn't have gone through the last year's tortures of the dam like we have. It matters. You have vehicles right there to facilitate that kind of communication. Please, please reconsider informing the neighborhood associations, giving them the opportunity to invite the applicant to come to a meeting and explore what's going on with this. Please consider making that a part of the application process. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got a motion on the floor in a second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes?
can I make one brief comment? Just a statement. It's not trees. What would I have to say about trees? I love trees, okay?
Briefly.
No, to Ms. Lindsay's comment, I think one of the other municipalities, I think it's West Palm Beach, I think it is part of their application process, where they have to get some sort of input, or it's gotta be, taste tested, if you will, by the neighborhoods before they can move forward, I think. So I think it's a great idea.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we have to take a quick break, just a few minutes here. It's 2 hours, sorry.